Hi, I'm Daisy and today I will be reviewing Matched by Condie, which is the first book in the trilogy that she created, and I am really excited to talk about this. There is one thing that I want to discuss before I get into my review though, which is myself and Sasha from A Booktopia here on YouTube have launched a site together called Fandoms News, which is a multi-fandom site that will be dedicated to all different fandoms. So we have things like the Mortal Instruments, Divergent, the Hunger Games on there, even with the news from their movie adaptations. So we're really excited about it and we hope that you guys want to check it out. Now for the review part. Matched is a dystopian that is set in the future where the society is completely different to our own. The society is based on probabilities and percentages of things that are going to happen. So they can find out that you're 95% resistant against something. So it's a very strict society and they figure out all the kind of probabilities. They sort for who is your perfect partner in the world that they live in, and you are matched with them, and you pretty much don't have a choice with anything that they give you. They give you your job, they give you your destination, how many kids you can have, they tell you when you're meant to die, and that's really horrible, and they don't give you pretty much any leeway for anything. You're just told what you're given, and that's pretty much it. You can't change it, you can't change who you're matched with. That's the probability of who they think you'll have the best genes with. The society is pretty strict and they will give you citations, which are basically little warnings, but they then compile into infractions, which is really basically criminal status pretty much, because of something that's happened and that they have broken the law. Creating content is abolished, so they don't really have people generating new songs and new books because they find that they have got the perfect amount of things. So it's kind of sad that they don't have anything that is being created. It's pretty much people just doing what the society tells them to do. It's a very technology-driven society as well, so it's a little bit different from some dystopians where they don't actually have things like lights. They've kind of broken away from everything that isn't to do with technology, which is a really strange thing to be reading because I don't think I've ever read a dystopian so far that is pretty much technology advanced and they don't have other things. So it is a really interesting book I found, and I really love the main character, which is Cassia, and we read from her point of view. The story starts with Cassia on her 17th birthday and it pretty much evolves from there, and the way the book evolves from her opinion I found was really interesting because she's finding out all these things about the world that is around her and she's having to question things that she never thought she would question before. So her awareness of everything is being amplified through the story and she meets all these different characters in it, and it's a very interesting ride to go along with her. And I enjoyed the fact that this wasn't in a way that how other young adult books are, where they kind of add the teenagers together and then it's kind of like they are all ready to jump each other, whereas this was a very slow progression throughout the book with what happens, and it's a very sort of subtle and delicate storyline I found, and it was nice to actually read something that wasn't kind of necessarily fast-paced in the romance section, but it still was, if that makes sense. It was a nice mixture, whereas some books kind of can get that wrong and it's kind of like all of a sudden. Some people might find this a bit of a slow read, however, because it isn't very action-packed necessarily. It doesn't follow like a quick succession of events that are like, oh my god, that's like, what the hell is happening? It is in a predictable storyline though. I found that it didn't necessarily stick to the guidelines that are normally set in a dystopian. It was branching off and it did create its own buzz around it. It is a very character-driven book, I personally found, and it's developing the characters for the next nice thing that we kind of get to know them slowly. I kind of like that rather than necessarily it's all at once. Like I said, sometimes they can just be like, oh, all of a sudden, and you just kind of like, oh, it's just too much sometimes. I do like a slow progression with things. I don't like to be like, 30 pages through and then I kind of know all about the romance already in a first book. I like to be set up for the next books that are following on. It is an easy read to get through, it's not too complicated, but at the same time you are actually gripped by the storyline and you want to learn more about Cassia's story in the following books. So I give it a thumbs up really because I really actually enjoyed it and I want to reserve the next book at the library. So that is a really good nod of approval at Condie for her book. So that's my review over and done with. I tried to make it as non-spoilery as possible for those people that were kind of wanting to read this series perhaps, but I am really sorry for the awful lighting in this video. My camera is just being stupid at the moment and it just will not do what I'm saying, so I'm kind of reduced to doing the webcam again for a while, so I'm really sorry about that. But obviously if I'm talking about something, it's more to do with my content necessarily than the camera quality. although I know that is an important thing. So either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you haven't read the book, I highly suggest you do go pick up a copy, and please go check out the website because that is exciting. And we also have some other things that are like Twitters and things like that you can follow down below, so please go check those links out, and I shall see you soon. So bye!